Warning. This video contains a candid discussion about public corruption in our local community that might be uncomfortable for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, my name is John Manoni, and I'm producing a series of reports and interviews that I hope will raise public awareness about public integrity in my local community of Oceanside, New York. For those who don't know me, a few years ago I decided to do something about corruption in my town by running for a commissioner's seat for my local sanitation commission. Our district is currently about to enter into negotiations over a collective bargaining agreement with one of our unions. Many of my neighbors might think that this is a routine labor negotiation. However, the wage issue in our district has a long history involving corruption and abuse. In this report, I'd like to explain the issues and the history of corruption surrounding it. In order to explain how corruption is at the center of the wage issue, we will need to explain what the dispute is about. The problem with wages in Oceanside sanitation is that our workers are paid significantly lower wages than other districts. The employees that actually pick up the garbage get paid about $30,000 less under the current contract than similar employees everywhere else. For example, a Town of Hempstead sanitation worker receives a top pay of $80,595 after 13 years of service under their contract. Further, in Sanitation District 6, top pay is $80,282 after only 7 years. And in Sanitation number 2, top pay is $77,912 after 5 years. However, our district, number 7, the top pay is only $50,741 after 9 years of. Like nearly every aspect of our district, the wage system that is currently in place was created by one man, Michael Scalata. Scalata was a political boss that took control over the district in the 1980s and ran it for nearly 35 years until he was finally removed after a series of comptroller audits and newspaper articles exposed his corruption. During Scalata's reign, he was the superintendent of the district, and after retirement continued to have direct control of the district as an in-house consultant, maintaining absolute control by directly selecting all the commissioners and the district staff. Scalata created a wage system consisting of discretionary merit raises. Under his merit raise system, which is still in place at the district, he could have the board periodically vote on merit raises to increase his salary, and later to increase the salary of his son when he became superintendent after he retired. To avoid outside scrutiny, his wage system made sure to couple his and his son's raises with other management employees, while at the same time often demanding that those employees who got raises made donations back as political contributions. Over time, this system had inflated wages for the Scalatas and his hand-picked management staff. To make matters worse, Scalata added more management staff positions to increase the flow of his raises and political contributions. During this time, the district labor wages remained flat. But then, in 2009, after a comptroller's audit, Newsday began to run articles exposing Scalata of corruption practices. All of this occurred around the same time that the labor union was in the process of negotiating a new contract with the district. The articles had created a public outrage, and many of the workers were confronted with angry residents. To respond to this, the workers' union placed an ad in the papers explaining that the sanitation workers had nothing to do with the corruption and were not overpaid. Scalata, getting wind of the ad, was enraged and viewed the ad as a personal act of treason against him. In an act of retribution, he dragged out the contract negotiations for several years, eliminating the pay scale system, and made sure the wages for future laborers would be significantly reduced. As a consequence of Scalata's wage system, the district struggles with an inefficient management staff and a payroll distribution that allocates nearly 40% to management and supervision and only 60% to the workers providing the garbage picked up. The impact of the underlying corruption on district wages can be felt by our residents in several ways. First, it is leading to a decline in overall service. Second, it will undermine the character of our community-based workforce. Third, it has a major factor in the escalating labor tensions in our district. And lastly, and probably the most important factor, a system based on corruption is just plain immoral. As a commissioner attempting to fight corruption and the legacy of corruption in our community, I am confronted with many corruption deniers. The corruption deniers refuse to recognize that there's a legacy of corruption and that it has created a dysfunctional wage structure at our district. Our senior management to this day refuses to repudiate Scalata and attributes the unfavorable treatment of labor under the existing labor contract to merely bad negotiation on the part of the union. And even some of our commissioners on the board refuse to recognize that Scalata's 35 years of absolute control have any lasting impact on our district. And finally, there are many people in my community that simply want to ignore what has been done. But the truth is that your fellow neighbors' lives have been harmed by this corruption. It has affected all of us in terms of taxes and value as members in this community. For most of us, the impact has been distant and measured only by our unseen tax bill. But for our workers at our sanitation district, it has been a daily part of their lives for years. And it is more than financial. They have been subjected to years of psychological manipulation, in some cases indirect physical abuse, that has eroded their dignity as human beings. To the corruption deniers, I say that to ignore what has been done lessens who we are, and to deny it is to invite the same mistakes to happen again. If you like this video and you want me to continue producing more informative reports for our community, please like, share, and comment. I produce these videos out of a commitment to clean up our community and to make it a better place to live for all of my neighbors. Your comments and support go a long way to encouraging me to continue fighting for what is right.